This just in, some breaking news in the CBS Sports HQ. Tua Tagovailoa has cleared concussion protocol and will play Sunday against the Cardinals. Let's hear from head coach Mike McDaniel.
With a foot wobble with a quad this week. Do you expect both to be available Sunday?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. We'll see how today goes. But I feel very optimistic and feel good about where they're at.
Did Tua indeed clear concussion protocol?
He did. After going through the process and having a practice where we were able to initiate some contact with him, and then he met with an independent doctor and was fully cleared. He is out of the protocol.
You say he will play Sunday?
Yes.
Frank Smith had a cool story about how Tua was popping into his office at 5 a.m. Can you just speak to his eagerness for this moment?
Yeah, I think he's done an outstanding job, not doing anything but controlling what he can control. And so in that, he's put his best foot forward to take care of himself, as well as to be the leader of this football team, just in a different way. All of that is he's been fully engaged, but he's also become very aware that he is not interested in becoming a coach anytime soon, that his love is playing football. So I think he's eager as everybody is. You know, I think if you had any questions about how valuable he is, I think it's pretty obvious. I think the team is excited to play football and to have him be a part of it. He's excited to play with his teammates, and I'm very happy for all of those involved. But yeah, pretty eager.
What do you think some of those questions he had when he was at these early coaching sessions helped him learn about maybe the offense or the team, or your role?
Well, it helped. That's a cool question. That's the best question today. You know. But he. I think there's a. Well, first of all, you learn. I think if you needed another reason to go above and beyond, and with your actions and how much he appreciates every meeting, every time on the field. You know, you don't know what you have until it's gone, right? So having that and being able to try to help the team without playing, you lean into how many different players need to be reached on a given week, how many different problems. It forces you to get outside your own experience, is the way that we've kind of talked about it. And he's so like, all right, well, you know, this guy is running his route short. This guy, our cadence isn't where it needs to be. Instead of just sitting there and stewing over it, he took action that connects him to his teammates in a unique way, because typically he's not coaching them, you know. And then understanding, you know, just looking at, you know, as simple as when things aren't successful, you can kind of have a better attachment to what's most important on certain plays, and certain things that we do in our offense, and how valuable that, you know, people talk about his timing all the time, and you know, he plays convicted. He's very coachable, but I think he's found I don't know, more confidence based upon how he plays and why, and more reasons of why he does certain things, why we do stuff with technique and fundamentals, all of that. And I think the simplest thing I could say is as a quarterback, you have so many things on your plate, and you see the world through your own eyes. And this process gave him an opportunity to see the problems of other people, to really clear the whole NFL work week. You put a game plan in, and how do you execute that game plan? What needs to happen? How does walkthrough need to look? How does his tonality need to be? You can see when you're observing how should you respond to a bad play. I think all of these things.
All right, we've been listening to Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. Again, he says that the Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has cleared the NFL concussion protocol, and he will play Sunday against the Cardinals. So let's bring in now our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Jonathan, you're listening to head coach Mike McDaniel talk about Tua. The word I think that came up a lot there was value. That's what he means to this team. What was your instant reaction to listening to McDaniel there?
Yeah, certainly Tua Tagovailoa extremely valuable to this team, as evidenced by how lost this team has been the last 4 weeks. You go back to 43 days ago when he suffered that concussion against the Buffalo Bills, his third known NFL concussion. And though he said that he didn't have any symptoms the next day, something that I'm told is not uncommon for someone who has suffered a concussion, even multiple concussions, like Tua, in discussions I've had with league officials and doctors. Here's what I know what the Dolphins have done, what Tua has done with his family, is they have had a number of discussions with medical experts across the league. The Dolphins medical staff has been involved. Independent neurological consultants have been involved. No one told Tua that he should retire, that he needed to retire. Now, there are studies out there that the more concussions you get, once you get to that threshold of 3, the longer that the recovery time will be for any repeat concussion, that you may become more susceptible to future concussions. We heard from Tua earlier this week where he did not seem to voice any concern over that he's going to continue to play his style of football, that he has wanted to get back out there on the field with his teammates. He's been itching to do that. So he has cleared concussion protocol, which means that he has been passed by an independent neurological consultant. He has returned to baseline and probably did several weeks ago. And he will start 45 days after suffering that concussion against the Bills. He will start this week against the Arizona Cardinals.
You mentioned that press conference earlier this week. He was pretty adamant that he was going to play football, that there was no idea there of retiring. He was also adamant about not wearing a guardian cap, called it a personal choice. Why do you think he's deciding against that?
Well, he doesn't have to. And so here's sort of a misnomer, Mike, that was, I think, probably perpetuated a little bit this past week. Tua has already been in what the NFL, through laboratory testing, has determined is the safest helmet for a quarterback to wear. It's not technically guardian cap optional, but the sort of non-position specific helmet of this type is guardian cap optional. To be specific, it is the Visus 02 Matrix ID QB helmet. And so it has extra padding in places where quarterbacks typically need it, the occipital area, the back of the helmet and back of the head. Now, Tua's concussion that he suffered against the Buffalo Bills, it's unclear where exactly he suffered that concussion, whether it was upon impact with Damar Hamlin or if it was upon impact to the turf. That part, it may be clear privately. It has not been cleared publicly through what I have been able to determine. The guardian cap, what the NFL says, what the guardian cap says, is that it can reduce head impact severity and concussions by about 15 to 20% on a regular helmet. But so many of these helmets that have been tested over the past decade, what has been sort of created, manufactured, are helmets where you don't need the Guardian cap on top of that, for lack of a better phrase, it's redundant. And that is what we have seen with Tua's quarterback-specific helmet that he has been wearing, that he will continue to wear. Now, of course, the question has been, could he not just put a Guardian cap on top of it? Sure, I mean, you can, and then you could put a Guardian cap on top of that, and on top of that. It's about 7 or so ounces. Tua didn't get into why he didn't want to. He just called it a personal choice. But the fact is that the science that the NFL has, frankly, the science that Guardian cap has stated, and outside third parties who may question the science that the Guardian cap actually puts forward. There are still some questions about its effectiveness. Let's be clear about that. Essentially, it is redundant, it is not necessary, and that is at least part of the reason why we won't see Tua in a Guardian cap.